You got more than 20 years of experience as a professional commercial artist in the advertising field, 5 years as an instructor of graphics and design illustration at Pratt Institute, Westchester Community College, Marymount Manhattan, and Skidmore CCI. You specialize in Art Nouveau influenced poster design, advertisements, package design, and book covers. And what's way cool is all your different accounts that you've worked with. You've worked with Miller, Camel, Coors, NASCAR, Trek, Celestial Seasonings teas, which everybody, if you've seen anything from Celestial Seasonings, that's Echo. Patrick Rothfuss, Arlo Guthrie, Dave Matthews, the Sheik of Dubai, Random House, Penguin, Disney, Mattel, Sears, Public Supermarkets, the Bellagio Resort, El Conquistador Resort, the U.S. Postal Service, the City of Tokyo, the City of New Orleans, the U.S. Virgin Island Tourism, the City of Chicago, Hasbro, Catalyst Game Labs, Langney's, Lurch, and many others. So that's amazing.
That just about used up our entire time limit right there.
You're amazing. Amazing. So anyway, now that everybody knows that they're speaking to a virtual, I guess, art goddess. So how have you transitioned from the current pandemic? You were very prominent in the convention circuit. So how has this whole thing taken you?
Well, we've been doing conventions for the last 10 years, and this is the first year we haven't done conventions during the summer, and that's been different. I started, well, as you said, I most of my career has been doing advertising illustration, which is awesome. I love it. And then about 10 years ago, we started traveling, doing the conventions to meet fans, and so that we could travel with our kids during the summer. And then this summer, we're not going anywhere, and just like everybody else, so we're stuck in the studio. So there definitely is a transition period for everybody. Mm-hmm. Having done illustration for 25 years or so, I've seen points in my career where I've had to make adjustments. Like 9/11 was a big adjustment around New York City that had an effect on our workload and everything. Different points and when political things happen, it affects advertising illustration at different times in the economy, and I'll have to make adjustments. So sometimes I'll start teaching, or sometimes I'll switch over from advertising to do more conventions, or to do more freelance work, or more independent of my own pieces and such. And that is really important when being an artist, in order to maintain to keep working, really. And the pandemic is no different. It's just at a much, much bigger scale. So it's important. So one of the things that I've done now is that advertising work has slowed down a lot because, everything that's going on. Conventions have stopped completely. So I've started focusing on my own pieces, and I put up a Patreon, and I'm working on my personal Patreon pieces until things settle down again. So, which they will.
Absolutely, they will. Does it make any difference? Because you recently moved from the big city to, or I guess relatively near the big city, to your own private island. You're like with tattoo and the plane.
Not quite, but sort of like that. There's a bridge. So, yes, we lived in Sammamish, and a year ago we bought a piece of land up here on Camino Island, and I had intended to move here in 4 years. And stay down in Sammamish until my high schoolers were out of school. Which brings me to an important point about this pandemic and about flexibility. A lot of people right now are in a weird place, where things just look like they're completely falling apart, and it's really scary. You're looking at the job you're supposed to be doing, or where you're supposed to be working on, and it's it's kind of scary. What you really need to do is you need to think about, okay, take a step back, take a breath, and think about how you can adapt to the current situation. So that's what I did with the move up here. Is I looked at everything that was going on. This was back in March, and I said, this is going to last a little bit while, and if we lose all of our shows, that's going to have an impact. So I made the move then to move up here because it decreased our expenses a lot. And it's hard for people to make such a drastic decision. But you don't have to, you have to look at the situation and think, should I stay where I am? Should I move? What should I be doing? Should I? It is a great time to focus on your artwork or something else. It's a good time to change careers, or to look around and see what else can I do to adapt to the new situation that's coming up.
Okay. So I have a question now. Do you consider it more important to specialize in one type of art or be competent in multiple mediums or even fields of endeavor like storyboards versus graphic design, cover art, etc.?
Well, I've personally been freelance for the last 25 years, and that has been important to me. And in order to do that, the only way I've been able to maintain that is to diversify.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally work in a lot of different mediums. I don't work in one medium. I went to Pratt where they taught us to like a basic foundation. That's what I loved about Pratt, a basic foundation to create art in all different mediums. And so sometimes I work digitally, sometimes I work physically in oils or pen and ink or many other mediums, depending what the project calls for. And then sometimes I'll work in, I'll do package design, or I'll do oil paintings, or I'll do, depending what the need is for, at that time. So I think it's important to diversify, but then there's some people that make their living on specializing. The only problem with specializing, then, if that falls apart, you're limited in where you can spread